Okay, so last type of query that we're going to be learning is called a summary query. And as you know now, queries help locate data within a database. And at this point, all we've worked with is have been around structured to find, work to have been structured to find a set of records. But sometimes you want to be able to answer questions getting summarized results. For example, you might want to know the total pop rock albums that you own, or the average listing price of properties for sale, or the total number of dogs available for adoption. So a summary query will take the existing data and do some aggregate type of functions, whether it be average, whether it be count, max, min, or sum. So what I'm going to show you is how to build one of these types of queries. It's actually pretty similar, and then we're going to set this up. So the real estate company we've been working with wants to know the total number of properties each agent has listed and the average list price for those properties. So for instance, if we look at our listings, it's basically wanting us to summarize by the listing agent number, right? And then within that group, let's say it was Rick Chung again, wants to know what the average list price for Rick Chung was. So if you remember, we're wanting to summarize basically some information related to those 7 different agents. And we're just looking at totals, not individual listings. Okay, so there's going to be a couple summary fields that have us do this. Okay, so we're going to create a query design. And on this one, both of these, again, apologize for that. We're going to add both of these tables to our query and resize like we normally do. Basically getting it set up, okay? And we're going to start, for the first one, we're going to do the agent's first name right here. And the second one, we're going to do the agent's last name. In the third cell, we're going to do the listing price. And then for this one, because of what we're doing, we're going to do the list price again. One of these is going to be for a count, and one of these is going to be for the average for each one of those. So to do these summary queries, right up here under our query design toolbar, we have this totals button. And that's what we use. And that creates a third row that's called our total row. And it's grouping by first name and last name, which is what we want. But we're going to do a couple of summary queries here. The first one is going to be the query of finding our count, how many properties each one has. And then the other one is going to be the average. So I'm going to change this to average. Okay. And I'm going to save this one. We're going to call this one listing count and average list price by agent. Quite a name. And then we're going to go ahead and run it. And there's our count. Now you'll notice that the names of the fields are those aggregate names that they automatically supplied for us. Okay. And we just want to make them best fit in terms of how it's set up. Those could be changed with our property sheet again. So I'm going to save that. If I go back here and I go into our property sheet, we could do a different caption if we wanted to give that a different name. But again, that's finding summaries of those 7 different agents, which we grouped by, in this case, how many properties each one had. So it looks like I made a mistake on one of these. I did last name. So let me change this to first name and run that. There we go. So Gerardo has 5, and then we could do sorting. We could do whatever we wanted to within that. But that's a good way of figuring out their average list price of the homes that they're having instead of having to take it over to Excel and do some of those features. Okay, so that is chapter 3. That's the last part that you'll see within this. Lots of different queries. Be very careful in designing them. Make sure your spelling of your criteria is correct. Just really follow those directions very carefully, and you'll do just fine. You can always toggle back and forth between design view and run to see how it's going. But right down here in the design grid is where it all is set up, and that has to be done correctly to get the correct results. Good luck on chapter 3, and I hope this helps you out. Have a good one.